day one. This is for libraries. So even if we're not in line with where we started with week 2, day 1, then let's just follow through with it. So for today, for this lesson, we're going to cover the warm-up stick figure module. Then we'll also do an introduction to libraries, what they are and how to use them. And then we'll show you a practice on assignment TS201, dice roll, and assignment TS202, which is Gainer Planner. So to begin with, you'll need to open your TextMart. And as you bring it up, you'll see the assignments for the day. If you're not on Monday, if you're doing this later, you of course can navigate from one to another clicking here. So we'll start first with the warm-up. So on the instructions for warm-up, we're going to open the warm-up code. We're going to run the code and observe what happens. Then we need to change the pose of the stick figure by modifying the print strings. And then see the assignment panel for suggestions, or you can make your own. So here we go. We'll go ahead and we are now in the wrong place. Just a moment. I need to go back here because I clicked on the wrong. No, I did the right spot, didn't I? Okay, click on warm up. And it's a little bit, I'm going to have to change the font here a little bit smaller. And if we click here, we can just kind of make it so we can see the whole thing. Now, right now, when I push run, I see this little man standing with his hands up. I'm going to make a modification so that I have a different form here. So I'm going to try doing a / and change his hand here. I'll just put in a space, and I just need to remember take the space out so everything's still lined up. Then we can go ahead and I'm just putting a space in place of this spot here. And then I want to do a couple of dashes with a dot. And just make sure that I delete the extra spaces and get rid of his hand up here by replacing it with a dot. And you can do any of these, just whatever you'd like to do. Have fun with it. Let's just make sure it worked. Cool, it did. And that's it for the warm-up. So I'll go ahead and turn it in. I'm pretty comfortable with it. I enjoyed it. That was pretty fun. You can mark it however you'd like. Notice that I got the check and we're good to go. Okay, then we'll go back to assignments and get ready for the next one, which will be libraries. So let me first give you a little bit of instruction on libraries. So in library, we're going to learn about library, function, call, and argument. These are the terms. We'll use these examples. Okay, if you don't know how to do something, where do you go to learn how? And in class, we might write at least one idea, but I'd like you to think about it for a moment. If you want to pause, you can. We'll go ahead and go for it. So one of the ideas that we have is we'd like to go to a library. We often go to library to get lots of information. Here's what Google says, and I'll let you read that if you'd like. So what does a library contain? Well, that contains like books and resources and videos and things like that. In Python, a library is a collection of code from outside the program. Now let's go ahead and explore a little bit what this might mean. So we're going to open the assignment 1.2 libraries, and in the project, go to part 2 billboard. We'll run the program once and notice what it does. And then we'll make these changes. We'll change the message that is displayed. We'll change the speed that the lights move. And we'll make 2 extra messages. Okay, and don't submit it at the end of this one. We'll submit it later. Okay, so that tells me I need to go to libraries and open the project part 2. Notice there's a lot of projects here. We'll just ignore those for now. Okay, just checking the assignment. Notice there's nothing there, so I'll just make it a little bit larger so we can see it nicely. And it says, okay, print this or play it, run it, see what it does. Okay, libraries contain many secrets. Program ended. That's all it does. Okay, you notice that the line went around quickly. It had a similar there. You can either go ahead and follow me through on this, or you can pause it, fast forward, or whatever. I'm just going to make a few changes. I'm going to try blue. I'm going to change the light speed. I'm going to try going faster. I don't know if that's faster or not. Um, and I'm going to say um, Python libraries rock. And I'm going to try changing this number here to see what happens. Okay, then we'll go ahead and play it, see what it does. Oh, it went blue. The part's going really fast. Oh, it's going like 100 times or something. I don't know. It went a long time. Okay, now the last part, as I recall, looking back here, is we need to make two messages, a two-message display. So I'm thinking, here's the part about putting in a second message. So we just need to copy this line, just the way it is, and we'll paste it. And then we'll put another statement here, and I'm going to say Bear River middle is great. And I'm going to try messing with these numbers too. I'm not really sure what they do yet because we're really not sure, but I'm just kind of playing with it. I want to see what happens. I'm going to try even a smaller number just for the heck of it. And I want to do light blue and see if that works. Okay, go ahead and play it. Ooh, it did. Light blue, Python library rock, and Bear River. Oh, it looks like it's the time. Cool. It looks like it's the time that this plays. So I've got a couple of different things in here we're going to learn about in just a moment. All right, so I want to wait to submit that, so we'll go ahead and go to the next thing. And we're learning that this thing that we called is a function. Now, a function is a named code action that can be used in a program. And you can see this function we've been using since day one. It's a built-in function in Python called print. And you notice that it has, when we type it in the editor, it makes functions blue, and the parentheses here, and then we put the arguments inside. What other function have we been using? And if you may remember, it's the one that called input. Okay. Now, this is how we use libraries. There are a lot of libraries that contain useful functions, and you have to import them. If they're not built into Python, you have to get them into your code. And so here's how you do it. You would type in, if I want the math library, I type in import math. Or if I want the graphics library, I type import graphics, and it goes and gets them. Now here's how you use it. You call the code, or call the function that's stored in a library by writing the library name, followed by a dot, and then the function name, and finally parentheses. So the one that we used for showing messages was ts underscore billboard dot show message and the parentheses. Now the stuff in the parentheses is known as an argument. Let's go back and look at the code and see. So when we look at the code here, you'll notice that this one has two arguments. There's Python libraries rock, which looks like a string that contains the text, and then there's another string that contains how long, as we experimented and found out how long it runs. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Is an argument is information that the function needs in order to run. All right, so now libraries in Python work something like this. So some libraries use arguments, some of them don't. I might want to change that from libraries to functions, but that's okay. Arguments are placed inside the parentheses. So as you see, with the TS billboard set 12, that sets the argument. And the argument for the print statement is this string here. When a function needs more than one, it separates it with a comma. So now we're going to switch to part 3 of the baseball exam. So now we're going to open in Libraries 1.2 the project part 3 baseball, and we're going to add these things. So first of all, we want to go to line 6 and add this following code. It's import TS_baseball. So we need to call the library first, and not really call it. We need to import the library into the thing here. So right here, I'm going to go back to baseball. Oh, there's nothing there. I want to first start out with typing TS_baseball. Oh yeah, remember I need to type in the word import. There we go. Now let's figure out which functions to call. So notice on line 8, we're going to type in TS_baseball add, and we'll put somebody's name with their position. And I'll stick with John. So then we do TS_baseball. So this is the calling the library, saying which library am I using, followed by the function add, and we're going to add John. And I think John is going to be at second base. Okay, then we'll do another one, TS_baseball. And we're going to add another player. This time we're going to add Maria. And she's going to play in center field. Then finally, let's see if I can remember what we're supposed to do. Oh, yes. So we did 2 adds. Now we're going to print the lineup. Okay. So now we do TS_baseball, print_lineup. I think that's how we had it. I'll have to go and check. Okay, let's just double check, make sure I got that right. Oh, yeah. So print lineup. Oh, my capitalization. I need to do the lowercase. And I did. Good. Okay, let's try it, see what it does. Okay, cool. So starting lineup, I have John playing second base and Maria playing center field. Nice. Now it tells me to submit the lesson. So I'll go ahead now and submit this lesson. Say how I liked it. Now it's going to be partial for me, but it worked okay. It's going to be partial because I had to stop this video and go back and reset everything. All right, so now we go back to the assignment just to get ready for the next step here. Pull up today's work. And let's take a look at some more instruction. Okay, so just recap a little bit. So a function is a block of code that only runs when it's called. Let's consider what type of functions might be called using these libraries. Like a math function might call things for statistics or calculating lines or shapes. Robotics might be the directions on how for the robot to move, what it should look for, what its sensor should do. Or maybe a food menu might be something for a restaurant or even eating at home or whatever. So those are what functions are for. And I have that example here. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the coding task. So if you want, you can certainly work on your own, or you can work with me. So for the first one here, 1.2 roll dice, the problem is that it's board game night, and unfortunately the dice are missing. And thankfully you've got a programming skills to create a program that will roll the dice for you. So you get to use the library TS Dice Roller, and you're going to use the dice, the command here, roll dice num for number. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start roll dice. And just like we usually do, we first check the project, make sure there's nothing else. Okay, there's nothing more there that we need to worry about, so I'll go ahead and minimize it. It looks like I've got several hints to use. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to run the sample solution, see how it looks. So it says roll up to 5 dice. How many dice would you like to roll? Let's start with 3. And there they are. There's my 3 dice. Hey, this could be handy for D&D if I wanted to roll a bunch of different ones. Okay, the requirements are that I need to import the TS dice roller, use the functions from it. I need to ask the user how many dice they want to roll, and I want to call the function roll dice. Now you'll notice down below, here is something that we'll have on all of these that we're using libraries. We have the name of the library. In fact, I can minimize that so you don't have to see the whole thing. And then you'll have the functions that are available in that library. This library only has one function, and it's roll the number. You'll also have what we call an abstract, or the information. So when you do this header information here, typically that shows up when we're trying to do these, so it's kind of handy. Notice that the goal of this thing is going to display 1 to 5 rolled dice, depending on what number you put in, and it exports as a string. Now the dice, it looks like it needs to be a string, which is really handy because our input function brings things as a string. So let's set up the library first. Let's type in import and then just copy this part right here, TS dice roller. So TS underscore dice underscore roller. And I don't put any parentheses there. I don't do this, or I don't put any arguments in. This is just calling the library. The next thing I want to do is I want to call, or I want to get from the user how many dice to roll. So I'm going to just do a how many dice. Yeah, and remember we want to use our variables to reflect what it is that we're doing, so it makes it easier to read later. Input, how many dice to roll, and then I want to make sure I put a limit here, 1 to 5, just something like that. Close the quote, and there we go. So there's my input. It's slightly different than what it showed before, but that's okay. Now the input the result, or output the result, I believe all we have to do is just call the roll dice, so roll dice, and then we're going to put the how many dice. Now something tells me this probably won't work. Maybe you can see what's wrong. I'm going to try it anyway, see what happens when I go to run it. So far, how many dice does it roll? And I'm going to say 2, and then it has an error. Yeah. I think, oh, yep, there's the error. So this one says that that roll dice isn't defined. It doesn't know the function yet. So to get that, we have to refer to the library, TS dice roller, and then highlight that it's a function with a dot there. Now, when we run it, and I do 2 again, it should work. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if it's going to be stuck doing 3s all the time. I want to run it again just for kicks and giggles, and I'm going to try and break it. I can see what happens if I type a 6. Oh, it didn't break. It just did 6 of them. Did it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, the program knows well enough that if you type more than that, in fact, it even tells me that's a little too big. We'll just roll 5 for now. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now, I believe we have everything done. If you want to work a little bit more on the challenges here, you can change your card so it always rolls 5 dice, or you can change it so the user will be prompted to choose which and when to roll, or what to do when, what does this say? To choose and roll dice twice before the program ends. Okay, so you could try to do that. Totally up to you. I'll let you go for it. So here we go. Turn it in. I thought that was kind of interesting and fun to do, so I'm going to go ahead and mark it well. Oh, I didn't quite get the whole thing. So I guess I need to go back and look and compare my results to the solution. So roll up to 5 dice. How many dice? It looks like I missed the line here to tell the person to roll up to 5 dice. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out the code here. It'll give me a little bit of a warning. That's okay. So I need to ask or inform the players here, print, um, roll up to 5 dice, like this. And now I can get rid of this part here, I believe, like that. And I also forgot my space. Let's try submitting now. There it is. That was the error. So it looks like there was 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code. So I would have been wrong. It's really worthwhile to look back on that green and see how it's going. All right. Let's go ahead then. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, pick up another one on the next part, and then you can just continue on it. I might have these combined anyway. Okay, here we go. How to do the task on the last part of today's lesson, which is the dinner planner. Um, so we'll go ahead and continue on. The problem here is you and your family are having trouble deciding what to have for dinner tonight. Write a program that takes in all of your dinner suggestions and picks one for you. The task is that we want to use the TS food randomizer in the library to add and randomly select a food. We also want to call the functions outlined in the requirements section of the assignment panel. So let's go ahead then and navigate to the dinner. It says dinner planner, isn't it? I'm going to just double check. This is a good process to do each time. Just make sure there's only one thing for us to do. Looks like it's good. So I'll go ahead and hide this part here. I want to see more of the text. I'll make it just a little tinier. Now, the very first thing says the requirements are import TS food randomizer. Okay, so import TS food randomizer. Okay, then the next part says call add food function with one food item as an argument. Okay. Oh, maybe I ought to run the solution and see what we're doing, right? Okay, so I want add a food you'd like to eat. So that's the first part we need to have. So I'm going to say shark. And then add additional food you'd like to eat. I'm going to say pizza. And then let's add another food. I'm going to add watermelon. And then one last food that I enjoy, let's say chicken. And today it says I should eat watermelon. Okay. All right. So it looks like I need to ask these different things. Now, just so that I can remember what they are, I'm going to head and copy this text. And then just randomly down here at the bottom, I want to paste it so that I can see what my results were here. That will just make things a little bit easier. Oh, I already have those on there, don't I? Right here, they're already there. And I've already got the item 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, so it looks like all I have to do is do the randomizer. I have to do the calculations and then do the output. Cool. So it looks like I've already got this part right here, these part. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that, but it looks like at the output, I want to print, or maybe I should look at my functions over here. Oh, here it is. There's a pick dinner. So I think I should probably call the library TS food randomizer. Make sure you're spelling it right. Now I'm doing a dot, and I'm going to choose the function pick underscore dinner, like that. Then the calculations, it looks like I need to add the food. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to I keep doing X, TS food randomizer, and we're going to add item 1 And then we probably want to repeat that again. TS food randomizer item 2. And I'm going to be doing this again 3 times. So let's just copy that line and let's go ahead and paste them in and change just what we need to change. So the third line here on line 22, I'm going to change it to item 3. And then line 23, I'm going to change to line 4, like that. Let's see if that works. I think that's probably it. And there are some challenges we can do. Just make sure if you want to do that, you can do that. Awesome. So let's go ahead and play, see what it does. Oh, I've got an invalid error. It's on line 32. And it looks like I did file dinner planner. It says watermelon. Oh, so I did this. I didn't get rid of this part here because I didn't think. All right, let's go ahead and try it again. Add a food you like to eat. Okay, pizza. PZ. Okay, bread. Water. Milk. And I've got a problem. I've got a problem on line 20. So let's take a look. There's line 20. It says trace back. The module error had no attributes to add. Huh. Okay. So TS food randomizer add. Huh. Okay. This says the file dinner planner line 20 module TS food add item 1. The module has no attributes. Add. Oh, what did I do? I didn't do add food. Okay, so I need to do underscore food. So I can't just make it up. I can't just figure it out from the ones we've done before. I've got to do this, underscore food. Do you see? So a really good practice is in future to go back and look at the library and see what functions there are that you can use. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Water, pizza, eggs, and dirt. Oh, I should eat dirt today. That's really weird because last time it did it, the last thing was the last thing I did too. Anyway, okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and submit it, see if we got it all right. Mark on how comfortable you are and so forth with it. I'm total green, ready, good to go. That should do it for today's lesson. If you want to go ahead and work on tomorrow's, that will do.